Some regions of the world are known for single variety wines. There's Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in Burgundy. There's Nebbiolo and Barolo. There's Tempranillo and Ribera del Duero. In other regions, there are many classic white and red wine blends, such as Bordeaux, Rioja, Champagne, Chianti, and Southern Rhone wines. They're all known for some of the best wine blends. But there are so many grape combinations that might sound unusual or weird, and yet they make surprisingly good wines. Christine, Cindy, and I have each found an unusual red wine blend to share with you today. We invite you to watch along, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share with us what unusual wine blends you enjoy. Almost all wines are blends of some sort. Some might be a blend of different barrels or vineyards or blocks of a single variety. Others might be a blend of different appellations or varieties. More commonly, we think of blends when we think of wine grapes that are mixed together. It can be a 50-50 blend of two grapes, or there can be multiple grapes, each with varying percentages. There's really no limit to how many grapes can be in a blend. After all, if you think about Châteauneuf-du-Pape, they typically have 13 grapes, but it can have up to 20 in their blends.
Blending wine is an art, isn't it? This is when the winemaker gets the chance to exercise his or her skills at balancing flavor. It's the opportunity for the winemaker to take individual grapes and make the sum better than the individual parts. The purpose is to create a more complex and flavorful wine profile for people to enjoy. Wine blending can enhance aromas, texture, body, finish, and the color of wine. If a winemaker notices a particular grape produces a wine that might be a bit lacking in one area, it can incorporate other types of grapes to make the characteristics more strong and more appealing. Even adding as little as 2% of a grape variety can change the entire sensation of a wine.
That's right. And there are different ways to make wine blends, and that's up to the winemaker to choose. Grapes can be vinified separately and then be blended immediately after fermentation is completed, or they can be blended after some time of aging in the barrel or tank. Grapes can be co-fermented together. And then there are field blends. Field blends were once common in the old world, and families would plant more than one variety in the vineyard and didn't really care about the varieties or clones. They were just all together. And instead of considering the unique characteristics of each grape, the grapes were all treated the same way. So red and white grapes were interplanted, and all the grapes were harvested at the same time. All were fermented together. The winemaker had no influence on the final blend. And more than likely, while all the grapes were native grapes or indigenous, the winemakers most likely didn't know what grape varieties they had planted.
So there are many classic white and red wine blends from around the world, and a lot of grapes are known for working well together. Bordeaux is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec, and these grapes are often blended together in different combinations by winemakers around the world. And in the Rhone, Grenache, Syrah, Cinsault, Mourvedre, and a number of other red grapes, or on the white side, Roussanne, Marsanne, Viognier, are just some of the grapes regularly blended together. But there are so many combinations that can be made, and sometimes some unexpected combinations can be surprisingly good. So let's talk about some of these unusual, weird wine blends. Christine, tell us about the unusual blend you have.
Well, I want to ask a question first. Have either of you ever heard of the grape Lemberger?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Blaufränkisch?
Yes.
It's the same grape. It's just the German name. So today I have a Lemberger Merlot from the Okanagan Falls region of British Columbia. Lemberger wines can be light and fruity or actually rich in extract and tannin. Carter Wine Company is, as I said, in the Okanagan Falls. There were only 56 cases produced of this wine. It retails for $30 Canadian and was aged in barrel for 17 months. Now, I happen to have a wine that is made by yet another female winemaker. Her name is Valérie Tremblay, who's the first female French Canadian winemaker in the Okanagan Falls region. She came to BC as a farm labor contractor to work, and many Quebecois come out to British Columbia to work in the vineyards spring, summer, and fall. And after 12 years, she got a little bored and was invited to come into the winery to look around and see if there was anything that was going to suit her fancy. She fell in love, and under the mentorship of Mark Simpson, began making wine. Stephen Carter purchased Hawk's Vineyard, which was a very neglected vineyard in the Okanagan Falls, which was planted at the time with only 5 acres of grapes. But within that 5 acres, there were 13 grape varieties in there. So after hard work and dedication, they've brought it down to only 4 acres, but the fruit quality is just outstanding. And when I asked Valerie about the Lemberger Merlot, she said that as she was a new winemaker, she really wanted to, put all the what you should do behind her and go and have fun. She felt like a kid, and she thought, well, what is Lemberger going to taste like when it's blended in with Merlot? And she put that together. And she said that Lemberger adds structure, spice, and a beautiful deep color to the Merlot, and they really go well together. And she is right, like this is full of blackberries, sweet and sour cherry. It's kind of fascinating. Plums, currants, gooseberry, elderberry, like hints of actually chocolate and banana. It is just quite an exceptional wine. I just love it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Lemberger.
Sounds beautiful, like a banana split.
Exactly.
Well, Christine, you had a blend of 2 grapes, and I went with sort of a little different thing where it's a blend of sort of lots of different grapes, but also grapes you might not think work together. I have the Dubost Homestead Red. It's from Paso Robles. It is a non-vintage wine, which is also an interesting fact. Mm-hmm. It's a $30 wine. I believe it's on sale at the winery for $21, so a steal. Dubost Winery is located in the heart of the Adelaida district in the far northwest of Paso Robles. And the Dubost Ranch has been owned by the Dubost family for nearly 150 years. And they're producing some of the kind of deepest, richest, most powerful wines in Paso Robles. It is made by a mother and son winemaking team, Kate Dubost and Zach Rains. So we have our female influence here. And as an ode to the winery, they produce 2 non-vintage wines, a white one and a red one. And non-vintage seems like it might be lesser quality. Of course, if you think about Champagne makes a lot of non-vintage wine for house style. And what Kate and Zach did is they really wanted to make a distinct wine. They like wines that have a little age on them. And with the non-vintage wines, they can blend a fresher, younger wine with an aged wine. And the result is a more complete, complex wine. So that's blend number 1, is our vintages. But what's really funny about this Homestead Red is the first time they made it with leftover wines. They had bottled everything. They had juice left over. And it was kind of like the kitchen sink went into the bottle and everyone loved it. So if they love it, if they come, you keep making it. Yeah. So now what they do is it's a bit more intentional. They know the grapes they're putting in it, but they always are sure to include unusual varieties into the blend. So this particular one that I have is, are you ready? 25% Grenache, 25% Syrah. Okay, those work together. 20% Sangiovese, 10% Cabernet Franc, 5% Cabernet Sauvignon, okay, Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, Syrah Grenache, Sangiovese, 5% Negrette, 5% Tempranillo, 3% Malbec, and 2% Petit Verdot.
Whoa.
Wow. So I got to have this wine.
I know, it's gone Rhone, it's gone Bordeaux, and then Negrette.
Spain.
It's like screams France, all in one bottle.
So there is nothing typical about this red blend.
No.
This particular wine was bottled in 2019, and it is a blend mostly of 2016 and 2017 with a touch of 2018. It's like, I said their style is really big and bold, and this has all those kind of like deep, dark, black fruit notes. It's got that spice and that richness. All I smell when I smell it is sort of this kind of this inviting richness to it. So on the palate, you get a little bit of that kind of stewed fruit note, but it's got a lot of acidity. And that's what kind of balances it. This richness that's kind of, you know, that's kind of mellowed by this bright acidity. And it's pretty darn drinkable. And I would have it with barbecue. I would have it with roasted meats. I mean, just because of all the richness and the acidity, I'm just gonna enjoy it right now while Cindy, you tell us about your unusual blend.
Oh my gosh.
You went the other way to a field blend. So
I did. And this is another reason I love this topic, because everyone thinks, oh, Merlot or Cab. There are so many different ways and blends in these wines. I just love it. Mine is a field blend from Acorn Winery in Sonoma County's Russian River Valley. It's $48. It's the Acorn Hill Alegria Vineyards, 2014. Every wine that Betsy and Bill Nachbar make is co-fermented field blend of grape varieties grown in their vineyards, and it's certified and sustainable. It's just a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. So Betsy and Bill are owners and wine growers, and they've been working since 1990 to maintain the tradition, the old world tradition of these field blends. But what's interesting about this particular wine is that, remember earlier we were talking about the field blends, they're like winemakers in the old world, like had no clue, it was just like fall in there. Bill Nachbar knows the exact percentages of grapes that are in the blend, which, you know, very precise, got that new world strategy with a completely old world vibe. So the 32-acre Alegria vineyard has 8.5 acres planted to heritage grapes that date back to 1890. So we've got a lot of legacy there. And these 8 acres were interplanted with multiple grape varieties, with the idea of harvesting today to create these field blends, which was a standard practice, as we know, in a long time ago, and specifically in the 1800s. So this particular wine is a blend of Syrah, Sangiovese, Viognier, Mamolo, and Caniolo.
Wow.
And Betsy and Bill call this their version of a super Tuscan, but maybe it's just a super Sonoman or something like that.
Nice. It's like a super Tuscan with that little Viognier that just
just fell in there.
Yeah, that's right. So this particular wine is only limited production, 197 cases. It was released in the spring of 2020. Just a beautiful nose, aged for 18 months in French oak, but some European and American oak were used too. I've got fresh raspberries, dark chocolate, a little bit of spice and earth, and then on the palate, that hint of oak that I just love so much, and then soft cherries, minerality. I mean, the tannins are soft, the acidity is bright. I would definitely pair this with steak, with pizza. We're having pizza tonight, so I might be finishing up this bottle tonight. Chicken with herbs and a sauce, eggplant parmesan. This is a wonderful, wonderful wine. And if you've never had a field blend before, try this one, because it's got whatever you need right here in the glass.
Yeah, it's great. I'm getting like a lot of chocolate notes out of this now. I'm getting spice. Like, you've made me really hungry, Cindy. I'm like, oh,
you're welcome.
I might have to have pizza tonight too and just drink this wine.
The banana split. The banana split coming out.
And a banana split for dessert.
Oh,
I'll be thinking of you guys in Chicago, and I'll be like, and Vancouver, and be like, cheers.
I forgot to say that this was the 2016 vintage, so it's already had some time to actually integrate into the bottle, and it's drinking really beautifully right now. So bravo, Valerie.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Wow. I'm hooked on these fascinating varieties that are field blends and different things. I mean,
why not be weird, you know? So we've selected 3 unusual red wine blends that are quite interesting and delicious. Is there an unusual red blend you like? We invite you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another episode. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.